Welcome everyone here at CCHA, also known as Clayton County Historical Museum, here in Plattsburgh in Clayton County in upstate New York, somewhere all the way at the end of it. Today we have a special guest. She's special guest dearly to my heart and to a lot of people who really know her. Her name is Robin Pierce, and I don't think you guys really know her, but we're gonna get to know you. Robin, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for inviting me.
I'm really excited to talk to you about your story. Are you ready to do this?
Sure.
All right. So where you were born?
I was born in St. Albans, Vermont.
Vermont?
Yes.
Why I was...
So my parents lived actually in Rouse's Point. They met in Rouse's Point. And my father was in the Navy. My mother had moved to Rouse's Point, and that's where his home base was. So they connected, and when he got out of the Navy, they moved back to where she was from, which is in the Highgate, Vermont area. And I was born at the hospital there.
Over there. Do you have siblings?
I have a brother who is 6 years younger than I am. His name is John. And then my parents divorced, and I have 3 half-siblings as well.
What do you think of love?
What do I think of love? I think the world should have more of it. I absolutely think that it's one of the greatest gifts that we've ever had is love.
What do you think, Robin, about romantic love?
Romantic? I love it.
You do?
Oh, absolutely. When you get the pitter-patters, it's wonderful. Yeah.
Do you think that love, you could love more than one time in your lifetime?
I do, but it's different, I think. Yeah, no, I married my true love. I truly believe
You're one of the lucky ones.
I am.
So how did you meet him?
I have a corny story. You ready?
Oh, I love corny stories.
Okay. So I mentioned that my parents divorced, and my mother's sister lived in Willsboro, New York. And so when my parents were going through the divorce, she would come over every weekend and bring my brother and I to visit. And it was her support system. And she met a gentleman in their church and fell in love. And he was a farmer from Willsboro. And so in 1980, we, as we say, hopped the pond of Lake Champlain from Vermont to New York. And I was 15 at the time. And
You met at 15 years old?
No, my mom and dad,
okay.
my mother and stepfather married.
Okay.
He was a farmer.
Mm.
So we were expected to work the farm as well. So my responsibility on the farm was to feed the calves, and it was a Holstein farm, and so those are the black and white cows, and I had to register them because we showed them at the fairs, and you had to have registered cattle to do that. And so my responsibility was feed the calves, register the calves, and then work the fairs. And I also raked some hay in the fields as well. But so I went to Essex County Fair as part of our farm to show cows. And my now husband was there showing horses. And so we met in the cow barn.
Oh my goodness. How old you were?
At the time, 16.
16.
We weren't allowed to date because he was still is 4 years older than me. And my mother had this strong belief that you are not going to date somebody that much older than you are at that time. And she was probably right. I wasn't having it then, I was a teenager, but yeah, she was probably right. So a year later, we met again, and it was, I'll say, better. And so my mother allowed me to date, and so I've been with him since 1982. We met at the Essex County Fair, and our first date was the Demolition Derby.
Oh, that's a great story. So there is such a thing that you meet one person and that's it.
That's it. Yes.
That was it.
That was it.
Forever.
So far.
So
yeah.
So how you have children?
I do. I have 2 boys. So when I met my husband, I was still in high school. I went to school. I went to Plattsburgh State, and I got a degree in accounting. And we got married after I graduated from college. And we've been living in the same house for 38 years. And we're about to move for the first time in 38 years to a new home right next to one of my sons. So yeah, I'm excited in that. But yeah, so I married Jerry, and we lived at the house we live in now for a couple of years, and then we started having a family. We have 2 boys. Love, 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 love them to pieces. They're the best thing I ever did. And so I have Ryan, who's now 35, and Tyler, who is going to be 33.
Robin, you like the happy movie. You like this happy movie that,
Yes.
but I want to dig more deeper into
Okay.
it. So what's your challenge in life?
My challenge?
And the reason we do that
Yeah.
is just to show people that even, you're obviously a very successful woman, and people think like you get up in the morning and you
Yeah.
show up strong, but I'm sure
Yeah.
there's a lot behind that.
Oh, yes.
And also, you're a very kind lady. And I believe personally that kindness comes from wisdom. So, and wisdom comes from suffer. So, what did Robin suffer in life?
Yeah. I think
And sometimes it just people are kind, so.
well, thank you. No, I think when growing up, I grew up in a time when you didn't have the social supports from government, and my parents' marriage was off and on and it was in the 70s, and we didn't always have money. As a matter of fact, we didn't always have a telephone and sometimes food. And so one of the things that I learned was neighbors helped us. And that resonated with me a lot. How hungry I was resonated with me a lot. And when my mother married this really nice man, and not that my father wasn't nice, he was an alcoholic and he had some demons, and I loved him. He was my father. I loved him, but I also understood where, it took me a while to get there, but I understood what those demons were and how that affected me. But when my mom married, Doug was his name, Doug West, we found stability that we never had. And I think that piece of it was something I really wanted to make sure I helped other people feel that I kind of knew didn't feel that way. So that was the suffering, I think, that really helped me become who I am.
Is that why you always cheer up and you run the committee of the food shelf and you always really invest in that?
I do. If I can make a difference somehow, I'm going to try to make that difference, whether it's showing up, whether it's if I can afford it, in whether it's just a kind word to somebody who might need a kind word. I really feel it. You never know what that impact's going to be for somebody. And I know what that impact was for me. I have to share this story. I'm a religious person, grew up Catholic, and my mom wasn't Catholic, but my father insisted on it, and she helped with that. When she divorced, she went back to being a practicing Methodist, but she allowed me, without any interference, to continue going to church. She made sure I got there. If I needed to get there, she would go with me. She would, and that to me was something really powerful. And then I had children, and my husband is not Catholic, but he also promoted, if that's what you want, great. And I said to him, I really feel that I want to raise the boys Catholic. And he said, fine. But he wasn't practicing. So it was me bringing them to church, and it was okay. And I'm still okay with that. But I had 2 toddlers in church, and I made sure that as soon as I could, I was bringing them to church. And Ryan was, I want to say 2.5, 3, and Tyler was a newborn. And just for whatever reason, neither one of them were going to be quiet or, and they weren't bad. They were just babies, right? And I'm sitting there going, oh goodness, because you have some people where children are interfering with their prayers, and they have this opinion, and that's something that I've always been sensitive to. I've wanted to be wanted and liked. And so I'm thinking, I'm gonna, for their peace, take those boys out. And I had this hand come on my shoulder, and this beautiful woman said to me, "Don't you dare." And I said, "What?" She goes, "I know you're getting ready to get up and leave. Don't you dare. We love those babies here, and I want you to stay." And so now I'm going to get emotional. And so I do that whenever I can to a young mother, because it made a huge difference for me. Don't you dare. We love those babies.
I love that. Maybe that would be Robin. Like, don't you dare give up on
Don't you
yourself.
dare.
Yes.
It's exactly right. Yeah.
Yes.
And so those moments really resonated with me in giving back as much as I could to somebody else, because it made a difference for me.
Robin, you just have the greatest heart. You really do. And I love that. I really do. This is like, don't you dare. I love that.
Yeah.
It's almost like, I have a friend that she always say, let's make kindness great again.
Yes.
I think that's your quote now.
Yeah.
Don't
I
you
like
dare.
I like that a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't you dare. Oh. So now that's where it came from.
Yeah.
Do you believe that people change to the better or to the worse?
I think both. And I think it's what life brings them, and what supports, whether it's, social supports, or when I say social, family or friends, that's an important thing to have. And if you're alone, then that's, I think that's where things like not kind actions come from, because they don't know any different, or they just are upset and angry, and they might be lashing out. I truly believe that the more you're kind to somebody, the better they're going to be. And I also believe that you can't change everybody. And so you have to understand that and not own it. Because that's I struggled some on that too, right? I wanted to make everybody happy and pleased and whatever, and you can't. But that comes with age and understanding.
Of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Do you have a good relationship with your mom?
I do, yeah. My mom, actually, she just lost her husband a couple weeks ago. He had a long goodbye. He had Alzheimer's. And it was hard for her. And I'm pretty much her caregiver. But yeah, she counts on me, and I count on her. And we're there for each other. So yeah, I do have a good relationship with my mom.
How about when your best dad, or your dad is still alive?
So my biological dad passed away about 15 years ago. And I had an okay relationship with him. I chose to distance myself because of some of his demons. I couldn't change what was happening, and he was kind of manipulative. So I chose to distance myself, and it was probably one of the best things I could have done for my family. My stepfather, on the other hand, he was a lot younger than my mom, and so he was more like a brother.
Good for your mom.
I know, right? That's why we called her the cougar, right? So she was 36 when she got married to him, and he was 29, I think. So he got a 15-year-old daughter at 29.
So it's perfect to be your friend.
He was one of my best friends, and I was one of his best friends. So yeah, I had a wonderful relationship with him. Even as his dementia progressed, he never forgot me, which that touched my heart, because I know how bad that disease can be. But
is Robin has something that happened in her life that was kind of trauma, and you wake up the next day, you're not yourself. You're never gonna be the same person again. Whether like someone passed, you lost love.
No, I think, yeah, it was. And I think this is also one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about making sure that I am involved in something that makes a difference. So when I was younger, well, I had two things actually. When I was younger, I remember clearly when the bombing in Lebanon happened. And it just, to me, it was so traumatic that it occurred. And then I heard it on the news, and there was all this talk about the potential for war. And my friends were all that age that they might go. And I just didn't know how to deal with if they did go and they were killed, how that would affect me.
And your friend were like in the military?
No, we were teenagers.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm thinking if we go to war, they would be called up because the draft was still happening.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was really upset. And I didn't know how to deal with that. Of course, you're 15, or I was a little younger than that, but hormones are all over the place. You know, it's managing your emotions is hard when you're a teenager. And that was something that I'll never forget. And my mother, she didn't help me with this, but she's like, suck it up, right?
I think sometimes that's what we need.
I'm thinking, how do I do that? But yeah, so there was that. And then I did have as a teenager a peeping Tom. Because it did help me become who I am, right?
Yes.
My parents had separated. We lived in a trailer park in Vermont, and there was a young man who I was very good friends with, and we played out. We would play softball. We would throw frisbees, things like that. We didn't have iPhones and tablets. You went outside and you played and you made friends. And so we did this with a bunch of kids, and he was part of that group. And I found him one night in our trailer. And the long story longer was he wasn't my peeping Tom. He was sleepwalking. My peeping Tom was a good friend of mine's brother who had a mental illness. And so I think what came from that is don't judge immediately. Know the facts. Get more information. But I immediately, and our relationship changed after that. And I feel bad for that. But I didn't know any differently at the time. But I look back at that and think to myself, how traumatic for him as well. Because all he was doing was sleepwalking. And that's why his family said, he wouldn't hurt you, Robin. He sleepwalks. So
That is...
So yeah.
Don't judge.
Don't judge. Get the facts. Get more information before you make any kind of judgment about somebody.
That is such a wise advice. And the story, this is very... who would have thought of a story that someone that's why you don't judge.
Yes, exactly. And then, but, in the end, I never got hurt. We put safeguards in place, but I never got hurt. But yeah, that was something
that's what
was unsettling, obviously, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you believe if your life goes back, would you do the same thing again, or one thing you can change about your life, what it would be?
I don't know that I'd change anything, because then I wouldn't be who I am. You are what your experiences are, I think. Even the hard days, I wouldn't change. Yeah.
You have grandkids?
I do. They're beautiful.
How many?
I have 3 and 1 on the way.
Oh.
So I've got a 6-year-old grandson, Chandler, who is just the apple of my eye. I love that boy. Of course, he's the first, right? There's always that special spot. Yes. And then I have a granddaughter, Brooklyn, she's just so beautiful, and I love her to pieces. And I guess she's got my heart, because he's the apple of my eye. And she's 4. And she looks like she's 2. She's tiny little peanut, but boy, she can hold her own. Oh, she sure is.
Like a grandma.
Maybe. Yeah, she's got a good foundation, I'll say, for school. She's ready for school.
She's ready now.
She's ready for school. And I have a 2-year-old grandson, Felix, and he's got both my eye and my heart, right? He is, so Chandler and Brooklyn are Ryan's, and then Tyler has Felix, and he's just a love. I could squeeze him all the time. And then Tyler is going to be having another one, and the Christmas Eve is when it's due. So we may have a Christmas baby.
Oh, that would be wonderful. That's just the best. Have you traveled?
A little bit. I have traveled throughout the States, but I haven't traveled to Europe. So that's something I want to do eventually, is to go to Europe. I just did my first cruise in March.
How is it?
Wonderful. We're doing another. So my husband is from Essex County, and he would just stay in Essex County if I wanted, and he would be fine with that.
Yes.
So we have friends who invited us on a cruise, and he was like, hemming and hawing, and I said, I'm going. I turned 60 this year.
Oh, Robbie, so wonderful.
Oh, thank you. But I was going to buy myself a good present, and the good present was I'm going on a cruise. So I said to my husband, I'm buying 2 tickets. I'd love it to be you. Go with me.
And he went.
And he had a blast. And so we had ideal conditions. We went to the Dominican, St. Thomas, the Bahama, the Caribbean thing. And yeah, we had great weather. There wasn't a bad sea. So it was a really positive experience. So we're going to plan an Alaskan cruise.
Who do you go to when you cry?
Who do I go to when I cry? Probably my husband, but my boys too. Yeah. Depends on what I'm crying about, I guess. Yeah.
So it stays in the family?
No, it doesn't have to. I'm not that private, but I'm usually not one to. It's funny. I usually say I cry. Sometimes I cry when I'm angry. And I'll tell people that, especially in my work life or something like that, if I start crying, run. Because that means I'm not happy.
So it goes in both ways.
It does, yeah. I wear my emotions on my sleeve.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. But if I'm sad crying, it's my family. Yeah.
Do you ever thought about having the same life that you have now when you were a younger girl?
No.
Did it come out to be better than you thought?
Yes.
Much better.
So my one of the things my biological father did for me was to put it in my head. You can be anything you put your mind to. And he really wanted me to go to college. And that's not something that any of our family members had done. And so that was always in my mindset as well, as I was going to go to college. I would find a way. And it ended up working out that I could. And so when I went to college, I chose accounting because I figured I wanted to be in business somehow. And I could do more with an accounting degree than a general degree. And I ended up also studying. At the time, it wasn't considered a minor, but it was. I think nowadays it might be. It's called an integrated component at the time. Geriatrics. Because I was always interested in seniors, right? And so I came. I'm going back as a high school student. I came loving my stepfather. I didn't love the school I went to. Because where I came from, I was it was very progressive in I would say and I would tell the same people this even today. I was a year ahead of where the students in my class were when I came to Willsboro. I was in 10th grade when I came. They put me in senior French because I had enough language. I was in I was ahead in science. I was ahead in history too, but we had a very, I'll just say, the guidance counselor we had didn't care for women. And so he put me back to 9th grade history. I said, I've already had it. And this is where my mom didn't go to this meeting. I went by myself, actually. And it was one of my first times really kind of advocating for myself. I said, Mom, he put me back. I took this in 8th grade. And she really didn't, I don't think, have the ability herself to go and advocate. So I ended up repeating a class, which I'm a worker, but I didn't work very hard for that one. I'd already had it, right? So I was not pleased because of that experience. I met the love of my life. So, good things came from this school. But at the time, I was like, I'm out of here. Send me back. I'll come over on the weekends and work on the farm, but I'll stay with Aunt Sally when we're over there. And this is a friend of ours. We call Aunt Sally. And I'll come back on the weekends. Mom, send me back. So I was out of here. That was my attitude when we first moved. I loved Doug. I loved the farm, but I wasn't going to be a farmer. I said, I'm going to just leave Willsboro and I'm going to make it big. And that was kind of my outset. And then I went to the fair and met this man, and the rest is, I'm still here 40 years later.
But I think you made it big in Plattsburgh. I mean, Plattsburgh meaning the North Country.
Yeah,
in my head.
I do feel that I've made a difference. I do feel that way. And
I believe in that. I
you.
really do. Just your presence makes people happy.
Thank you.
And I really, not just saying that, I feel like we met at the Rotary.
We did.
And what an organization. So,
yeah.
You get up in the morning and you do the same thing. Mm-hmm. You do it every day. You go to your meeting. How do you keep going with life and business? And how do you advise young professionals?
You always, if you can do it, compartmentalize things, because that's how I kind of keep sane with all of the busyness, right? Really work on organizational skills, because that's a big deal, especially if you're a professional and you have a personal life, because it's important to have a personal life. Mm-hmm. And you need to prioritize yourself as well. And at times this is the pot calling the kettle black, because I'll have people tell me, Robin, you need to take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. And right now I have people telling me that because my stepfather recently passed. It's been pretty busy for the last 30 days or so. And I'm listening to them. So listen to others in terms of advice, especially those in your close circle. But make sure if you have a busy schedule, that you put time down for yourself in that schedule. And don't feel guilty about it. Give yourself permission not to feel guilty to take care of yourself, because you can't be all that for others if you don't take care of yourself.
How success feels like for you? Do you feel it? Do you know that you success? Or are you like, you could be an example to others that you made it far? So people looking at, do you feel it? Because I know some people don't, and some people do.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
So it's a great question. Do I feel successful? Yes, because I have a strong marriage and I have a wonderful family. That's why I feel successful. The rest of it kind of just comes, and it's there, and it's important to me. I don't want you to think that it's not important to me, but to me, success is seeing others that I am coaching or helping a team work well together. And sometimes they don't work well together, and those are the hard days, right? But to me, it's not about me shining. It's more about, what did we together do? And did we make an impact on somebody's life? And what is, you never know for sure the true impact. But that to me is satisfaction, I guess. Mm. I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't feel like I shine. I don't. I feel like I make an impact, and that's what's important to me. I'm not one of those people that needs a fancy car or a fancy house, and the basics are fine for me. And then from there, what can we do for others?
Are you satisfied with mental health in general right now, and how people react to it, where we at, or do you think we can do better as a community and as a society?
I think we're better than we used to be on that. And I think it's improving. I think we have a ways to go. And I think it's also going to be generational. I think the more we teach our children to be tolerant of people who are different than us, um, and not maybe we don't understand them, but that doesn't make them a bad or a scary person. I think that's an important thing. I also think we need to have more um, supports available, especially in what I call deserts. We're in a very rural area, and I know Plattsburgh has, thousands of people, but it's still rural, and we don't have the access to care like they would in the capital district or in New York City or even in Burlington for that matter. We have to go across the lake to get some of what we need. But I think technology is helping us, and we need to embrace that because it's not going away, right? And I do think that we can do a lot more and make it better. But I think if I look back at my childhood, you didn't talk about it. You didn't. And then as a teenager, it was okay to go get counseling, but you didn't really share that you get counseling, right? And then full disclosure, I've had therapy, and I would promote it for anybody who just needs to talk to somebody, right? It's okay. It's okay to ask for help. And so it's okay to talk about it too. But that's also where I think there's some people that are just uncomfortable hearing that that's, you know, something that somebody's maybe looked at as a weakness. And to me, it's not. It's a strength. You have the courage to say something. So good for you.
And how's your relationship with your sibling?
My brother, it's good. Yeah, it's good. He lives a little further away. Let me put it this way: it's better than when we were growing up.
Okay.
Yeah, we fought a lot when we were younger. It's much better than, and we have each other's back. It's just different because he lives so far away. And I say so far away. He lives in the capital district, and it's 2 hours away. So we don't just connect, right? But we've been, we're there for each other.
Did you have a childhood friend growing up? Do you have one particular childhood memories with a friend?
I do, and it was before I moved here. Her name is Becky, and I've lost connection with her. But we did everything together, and we were tomboys. We weren't
tomboy.
No, I was not a girly girl. I was not a girly girl. But yeah, we did everything together. We went swimming. We would go skiing. We would play in the snow. We did everything together.
Did you have one memory about Christmas? One night, the best Christmas and the worst Christmas, or you don't?
I do.
You do?
I do.
Let's start with the worst.
The worst Christmas. Actually, I don't have a worst Christmas I can think of. Because no matter what, my mother always made it special, no matter what the situation was. We always had something. And it was, we were religious, so it was about Jesus and, the coming of Christ and that sort of thing. So, but I think the best Christmas, well, it could be the worst too, I suppose. I was young, like really young. And I remember this, right? So, I was 3, and my mother's father's brother, so it's my mother's uncle, was in the Vermont State Police. And he helped my father get into the Vermont State Police. So my father is out working, and you didn't have 24-hour diners then, so the door was always open. So even in the middle of the night, some of the police would come into our house and make coffee and have their coffee break and then leave. And my mother and I would sleep through it. Well, Christmas Eve, my uncle got me up and he put me on his lap, and he told me that he arrested Santa. And I'm like, you did what? He said, I said, why did you arrest him? He goes, because he was speeding. And so
I love
but then I was in tears, right? I was crying. I was 3 years old and he arrested Santa. How could he do this? And he says, do you think that he got here before I arrested him, and then I looked over at the tree and I had presents under the tree. So yeah.
And you didn't care about
Well, no, I wanted Santa to be out of jail, so
Okay.
the other kids had to have their presents too. So let him out. So his name is Uncle Teddy.
That arrested Santa.
That arrested Santa. Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice story.
It was a neat story. It was and like at first it traumatized me, but then I remembered it, and I even told it at his funeral. So yeah, how he arrested Santa.
When you went to school in high school,
yeah,
did you ever have a crush on a teacher?
On a teacher? No, because they were no. On older boys at school, yeah.
You did?
Yeah, no, I didn't have any. I don't think about that. I just trying to think. No, I didn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
you just meant for your husband.
I know, right? No, I had other boyfriends before my husband, in the sense of just
Yeah.
that teenage dating thing. But yeah.
Do you have a favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Yes.
What?
I have two.
Yes.
So my favorite movie is It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart, and I watch it every Christmas. And it's a tradition in our family.
That hit my heart.
And the other one that I really have to watch is the Ten Commandments at Easter time. So that's the other one that I have. It's a family tradition. So I will say that. But I'm a huge Disney fan. And that was something that with my boys growing up, we had every VHS of Disney. And yeah. And my oldest son, Ryan, the one for him is Jungle Book, because he was just about a 2-year-old, and the Bare Necessities came on and he would dance to it. So I still can vision him dancing to Bare Necessities. And then my youngest, Tyler, his is not Jungle Book, that's right, is Lion King. Yeah, so he's a Lion King fan.
He's a Lion King fan.
Except his 2-year-old hasn't seen it yet, because he hasn't figured out whether he could watch that part with Scar and stuff.
Yes. I always think of that part.
I know, right?
The minute you talk about it, that's just the part. I remember sobbing.
And me, it's Hakuna Matata.
So, I love that. Yeah. So how about music to you?
Oh, so I'm an 80s girl, true and true. That was when I was in high school and college, but I'm a big country fan. I love country music, yeah.
Who's your favorite singer in country?
Alan Jackson.
Okay.
Yeah. And currently I'm kind of all over. I kind of like the new country that's coming in. But Luke Combs is a big one for me right now.
It is.
Yeah.
Would you go to concert?
I've been thinking a lot about that. Because,
really?
Yeah, I used to go quite a bit, but recently it's like, I'm getting older. Do I really want to go? And so I kind of like just listening to it, believe it or not. Yeah, for me, it kind of changes it when you see them live. But recently, the Strand Theater's been having some of these, and they're amazing shows. So I'm getting back into it. Yeah.
Listen, everyone, go there.
Yeah.
How about books? What kind of books do you like to read?
So I like the romance books, but I've been doing quite a few books on tape because I travel.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I've been into Catherine Coulter lately. So some of her older stuff. And I like the biographies where the books on tape where they're the ones reading their book. Michelle Obama, I just adore her. I listen to Betty White, and so it's a mix of stuff. It's whatever I'm in the mood for. I love comedy too, so that's the other thing.
Have you ever read 2 books in the same time?
No,
you have to finish.
I do. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
That's a good. Do you think it's better that way, or that's just?
I think it's just how my brain works. Yeah, I have to finish the book before I start something else because I don't want to forget what I'm reading.
Is that part of like how organized you are?
I think so.
Because you have to be organized.
I am. I do compartmentalize. I do.
Yeah. So it has to be like in the.
Yeah, if it goes out of my order, it throws me a little bit. And it used to be worse when I was younger in terms of my reaction to it, but now I'm just I can pivot a little easier, but I forget. I find I'm forgetting to go back and finish something if I don't finish something. So it's important for me to make notes.
Oh,
that's the organization part.
that's very important to just make notes
Yes.
and to follow the notes. And did you have like toys when you were? Did you ever have toys growing up when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite one that you still remember, like a doll or
Yeah,
something?
Mrs. Beasley.
Mrs. Beasley.
Yes. And for those of you who don't know who Mrs. Beasley is, she has this blue outfit with little, I think they're yellow stars all over it or something. But yeah, you pulled the string and she would talk to you, and she had these glasses. And I think it was Family Affair that the little girl Buffy had Mrs. Beasley, and that's where I said, "Mom, I want to have one of those." And it was a Christmas present.
Oh,
Yeah.
And you have it.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to spend so much more time with you, Robin. You're such a wonderful
Well, thank
person
you.
and a heart and everything. But you see, someone is waving at me to stop, and it's just so hard to not talk to you and get more. So we should have this more.
Okay.
And next time will be about a certain subject.
Sure.
But for now, I can't thank you enough to just make people see the real you and to know that even people that walk in next to us, they also had it tough to be where
Yes.
they at.
Yes.
So I thank you for setting up example and helping people out there.
Thank you for doing what you're doing too, because you make a difference as well, and we appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you, Robin. Thank you for coming here. Plattsburgh, New York. Be ready, because you'll be here to tell me your story. For now, good night, New York.